Every day, America Online is making it easier for people to live, work, and play.
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved.
On YouTube, played by Yousef Abu-Taleb.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
Stop, you beautiful bastards!
No matter how large, no matter how small, we'll be on the internet in the year 2000. It's the primary way that people will look at information.
Shut up!
When we were there.
Hello and welcome to When We Were There, Biased Internet History. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Josh, and this is a podcast all about internet history, the who's, the what's, the where's Waldo's. We're going to get into it all.
Whether you like it or not, what the hell,
I
man?
buffed it again. What's going on?
That was take two, and you barely skirted past that.
I'm going to do
insane.
that one last time.
No, I'm sorry.
Sound bit number 3?
Yeah, no, that's it, dude. You've lost your chance.
Okay, cool. And
I mean,
Josh.
yeah, okay, go ahead, do it.
And I'm Josh, and this is a podcast all about the history of internet content, the who's, the what's, the where's Waldo. We're going to get into it all.
Yeah, okay. So, welcome, everyone.
Jeez,
That was strong. I just want to say that was a very strong take.
Yeah, no, he had something to prove with that one.
I've never messed that up. This is insane. It's not my day.
You're so nervous.
It was your fucking shit.
I was going to say I beefed in the room with him, and so he's just all flabbergasted, I guess. You're all flustered.
I'm flustered, but I'm also flustered by the fact that we have a goddamn OG on the pod today.
Yeah.
A man who, in his own right, in a way, kind of started what we know is not just like the internet YouTuber, but the YouTube celebrity. If it weren't for this production we're about to talk about right now, it might have been a lot longer before YouTube hit the mainstream. Today, we have
the Numa guy.
No, Thomas, enough. We have Yousef Abu-Taleb. How's it going, man?
Hey, man, how's it going? I'm super. That's kind of really nice the way you brought me in. That makes me feel pretty special, I gotta say. So
you are special.
You're a special guest, a special guy. You always look down at a list when you start a podcast of people you want to talk to. And you were on that list. We had a couple other people on that list that we haven't gotten, some people that we have got. So we're pretty stoked to have you. A lot of people will probably know you from Lonelygirl15, but for any dumbass out there, any
fools and Philistines
who don't know who you are, who are you?
I am the bartender at the corner. I'm just kidding. Okay.
You forgot where you work.
Yeah, I don't work there anymore. COVID, it's done. Bars are no longer in existence. I played DanielBeast on DanielBeast, or Daniel. I always say DanielBeast. I was the most occurring character on that show, although I am not the lonely girl. That would be Jessica Rose. And then I went on from there to do Lionsgate and FearNet's first web series called Bite Me, which you can't find online anymore, which is a tragedy because it was hilarious. And I am the proclaimed washed-up YouTube star.
The first washed-up YouTube star.
The eponymous. Yeah.
It's kind of a crazy thing when you look back at it, and I think so many people now, Zoomers, if you will, who are on YouTube, like anyone who wants to make a career on the internet, if you persist enough, you can do something. People are making money off of TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Vine for a while. There's so many things you can do. But when
freaking Daily Booth, when
you guys started this, first of all, monetization on YouTube wasn't even a thing.
There was no OnlyFans, so I missed out on that whole thing.
But you guys, first of all, you were the first YouTube show that really got any press about it in traditional media, because at the time when Lonely Girl started, the whole idea of making a career off a web series off the internet was ridiculous.
Yeah. Actually, that's what drew me to the whole project in the first place, though. I did this audition with Jess. Well, actually, I did an audition in the beginning. Many people. I met Jess. There was a chemistry between Jess and I, not like just an on-screen chemistry.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving this elevator for this project, which we thought was a student film at the time. And I had just moved out to LA, so like literally just like months into it.
Yeah, geez.
So I was just happy to get anything. It was one of the first auditions I'd ever done. And we got in the same elevator, and we kind of high-fived each other. We're like, "That was great. Like, I really hope you get it. Oh, I hope you do too," kind of a deal. And then I didn't hear anything back, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's how it goes. Rejection, right?" So
Yeah.
when I was doing the audition, I had kind of longer hair, and I wanted him to look like emo, kind of. So
Yeah.
down and like I had a hoodie up, like a scene kid or something before
The
scene
classic
kids were
look
a
back
thing.
in the day.
Yeah. And everybody else, I remember when I went to my audition, had that Abercrombie and Fitch look, which I don't even know if that store exists anymore. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but it was back
Unfortunately,
then.
yeah.
It is. Okay.
J.C.
It's still
Penney
around.
is dead, though. I know
Yeah.
that.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
JC
It went bankrupt.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
When? Like this year, or has it been for years and I just don't go shopping?
I think it was this year. It was like
Oh.
in the last year or so.
Oh man, crazy.
But yeah.
Well, so everybody looked like these Abercrombie kids, and I just looked different. So, which means you either like totally screwed the pooch, or you're good, and they're gonna notice something. But since I didn't get a call back, I cut my hair, and I was like, all right, like maybe I should have gone with that Abercrombie look. And then literally, I left the barbershop and got a phone call saying, "Hey, we want to book you." And I'm like, "Awesome! I totally changed my look. Sorry."
I gotta get
They're
a
like-
wig now.
We
Yeah.
loved the hair. The hair
Yeah.
was perfect.
They're like, as long you got it, as long as you still have that hair over your eyes, you'll be good.
You're like, Christ.
Yeah. So
Went back into the barbershop, asked you guys do hair
yeah, just
extensions.
start scooping up all the hair,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
trying to
Getting
Get
some
some
Use
Gorilla
Gorilla
Glue.
glue, whatever you
Yeah.
got.
yeah, Gorilla Glue, exactly. Oh man. And so I got a call. They asked us to go to, I think it was like Earth Cafe, maybe that's what it is, down on Melrose, maybe. And the line they said to us, which sounds like such a cliche line now, but like worked on me. He goes, "We're either gonna make you famous or infamous," and I was like, "I'm in."
Which one were you hoping for?
Either one's fine. Either one was fine.
You
I think
wanted
we
to
were
be feared
I think,
or loved?
yeah. So they pitched us basically that it's not a student film, and that they're going to shoot something that they put over the internet, and we're going to play these kids. We're not going to let anybody know we're actors or anything like that. And the original premise was that they were going to get people hooked onto our story or whatever, and then within a few months we were going to disappear and have people. I mean, they planned the buzz, like all that. I don't know how, but they totally did that, and we were going to disappear. And 6 months after that, a movie was going to come out called Lonelygirl15, and it would have been a bid, like kind of marketing campaign essentially.
So
Kinda
it was
similar-
trying to recreate the Blair Witch Project.
A little bit, yeah, but over the internet and with that interactivity and stuff like that. So that all worked until we started getting, I think the trajectory it took off way faster than we expected it to. Like we're getting a million hits of video. I remember when we got 100,000 hits, we were like, whoa. And then we all of a sudden, not long, it was like 1 million hits of video. And then, so there was so much media that eventually, I don't know exactly what happened, but pictures of us reading these scripts, like there's me laying on a bed reading a freaking script, ended up, I think it was at the New York Times, and that proved that we were actually actors.
Yeah, because I heard someone sent you guys a hacked email to the woman who was working at CAA, who was answering all the emails for Justice's character, and then they were like, "Oh, it's at CAA, so it's probably some sort of project."
Yeah.
And then they found like you and Jessica on some sort of like Actors Access website, but you guys had like closed your personal socials, correct?
Yes, yeah. That was a weird time. Yeah, so we had to like close, basically get rid of our social media accounts. We had to quit our jobs, and
Crazy.
yeah, because like people were just would start to kind of recognize us, and like
Yeah, you had to like
do
go out
one
in
of those-
disguise or something, like wear like a
My
hat and
disguise was
sunglasses.
terrible. I was like a Clark Kent. I just put on sunglasses. Like I thought that would work, right? But nobody. Let's be honest. Nobody cared about me. I wasn't the cute girl on the show. Like once the show got going, they definitely cared about me. Like I became kind of the heart of the show. But in the beginning, the press, the people, everybody was into this cute girl with the dirty
lonely
feet.
girl.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so so she was getting recognized left and right. And so that's kind of what happened. But I remember
that must have been crazy though. Like, did you ever get recognized and have to then pretend like you were Daniel?
No, I had to do events later on where I was in character and we met like fans and stuff like that, and they'd help us figure out puzzles or whatever to get our characters to the next part. So I remember that was kind of weird, to like talk to somebody and pretend to be Daniel and not be like, oh, hey, thanks for coming out, like kind of a thing. But
like they think they're talking to a genuine real person and you have to like totally like lie to them essentially.
No, by this point they knew that I was an actor, and so they were like involving themselves in the show. And so it was kind of, I think we did that, and then after we found we filmed whatever, found the puzzle, we told them all, hey, we're going to be going to this bar. You're welcome to come hang out with us, kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think Lonely Girl, at least on YouTube, was really the first big ARG. For listeners who don't know, that's alternate reality game, where it's a social media game that's on different platforms. So you guys had the website that had the forums that like people could respond, and there were people doing video responses, and there were actually other actors that would be doing video responses to the videos. That like, if you really want to watch the whole series, there is a playlist online that has like all 574 videos, which involve like other people's, and like, so you were kind of like playing this game, and your input could change the outcome of the show.
Yeah, that's true.
And you guys were like one of the first people. Well, not one of the first people to be like #1 top most subscribed channels on YouTube. Like it really blew up.
We had the most subscribed channel for a little bit. I think Smosh ended up beating us out, and then but I still think that the internet's kind of missing out on that type of a show. Like I would love to do, like I've wanted to bring back Lonely Girl multiple times, because I think there's something there, or at least that type of show where you really like can do an ARG. It's just not being done yet, not like to the extent that it should be done, like with money coming in and all that. There's something somebody hasn't done yet in that way.
Because the thing too is like the internet's pretty much the only medium where that can be done.
Exactly. And so it's like, why are we just posting like something? I get it, like we want to watch whatever we can in the palm of our hand or like wherever, and people like watching stuff on their computer now and all that, but like it's a missed opportunity to not continue down that road. Like web series now, it's not that, it's just people watching maybe shorter shows or whatever, just shows on the go. But it's not, I don't know, that ARG thing, man, that is, I actually tried developing something with some friends right after Lonely Girl. That was going to be like a pandemic style ARG.
Well, now's the time.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Another missed opportunity.
Yeah, but J.J. Abrams did it with both Cloverfield and Super 8, and one of Thomas's friends actually was like interacting with the Super 8 one and would be like getting mailed packages and having to like email back.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy concept, but yeah, like you said, no one's really doing it anymore.
Only be used for like advertising or marketing. It's never like the whole like
it should be the whole. Yeah, exactly. It should be the whole show. I actually remember when we were pitching that other show, we went to A+K, that's Ashton Kutcher's place, and then we went to some other place. We ended up getting beat out by Lisa Kudrow's show.
Oh, really?
Her like online therapy show or whatever. That's what ended up getting picked up, and we didn't. And then I think that went to HBO maybe or something like that. So she did well. Apparently, Friends is very helpful.
Oh, I would imagine maybe a little bit to have that backing. I think just to rewind like a second for just to go into it for people listening that might not exactly know what really Lonely Girl 15 was. In the beginning of YouTube, there was kind of a rise of the video blog or vlog now, where it was just kind of people being very authentic, telling their day-to-day to the camera. And the creators of the show, who were brought to YouTube through something that we bring up a lot, which was the Lazy Sunday video, which is one of the first videos that kind of got people going to YouTube. They came there and saw other people like Winecone and even like Smosh just like singing Pokemon to the camera. And it's like, there's no way to tell if this could be real or fake, if this is staged or this is people just being genuine. And from that, they kind of created this show that, like you said, was meant to just be marketing up to a film, but then found how lucrative that YouTube became when you guys were getting like so many views. And for a while there was just like discussion on like, is like so many different people talking about like, is this real? Like people trying to like look at things in the background and see like a poster that was like dedicated to a man who like kind of created the occult, and little clues and like, oh, but like how could, you know, they're going out and like the changing of aspect and all these little things that people were trying to find. And I mean, I think it's just like crazy how, you know, it showed how much the internet can kind of come together as a community to try to figure this thing out when they're like, what is something? But then it has you questioning whatever is real. And I think so many vlogs now, like the YouTube vlog is a completely different thing. It's no more like pouring your heart out in your bedroom and it kind of goes everywhere. But so much of that is staged as well, too. And it kind of created the conversation of like, what is real on the internet?
Yeah. I remember trying to, okay, so like the fans were so good at figuring everything out, right? So they were like, this is definitely a movie set. This is before the New York Times thing happened. Like, this is definitely a movie set. Like, there's no way, there's lights, everything. No, we're shooting on a crappy webcam, by the way. So I had the idea I told Miles or Mesh, one of them, I don't know. I was like, hey, why don't you let me actually hold the webcam and I'll do a 360, or Jess will do a 360 turn or something like that. And when we do turn, we're also going to pass by this Aleister Crowley like picture so we can get it, but we won't go slow. We will go pretty fast because we know that they'll stop and look at every frame.
Yeah.
And that kind of threw them for a little loop, like, okay, it's not a movie set. That's definitely a full, like, that's a room in somebody's place, right? So we kept playing with that, like, we're real people, we're real kids, we're not actors, you know, until that,
you guys
until those photos
had this like
out.
tug of war with the fans, where it's like every time they pull, like you push, they pull, and like trying to figure out.
The weird thing is, like, when it did get exposed, we kind of were worried that was it, that, you know, the gig is up, kind of. And that's actually what ended up kind of being a blessing, because it turned into something totally different. I mean, I don't know. I do like a different interview at least once a year, which isn't a ton for an actor or something like that, but it's always about this specific show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for it to have had an impact where somebody's interested in talking about it, that's what it tells me, that we're still missing an opportunity in doing some kind of ARG on the internet.
Totally.
I wanted to do one on it. So this pandemic thing, not pitching it because we're not doing it anymore, but we wanted to do it on like a kind of like a global scale. Like eventually, we really wanted it to have pieces all around the country and have everybody kind of film their own experience with like core people. And I think that's the kind of thing that's missing, because why only go to one audience, you know what I'm saying? Like one region's audience. I don't know.
Well, I think that's why it's
totally
had such staying power, is that like if you look at people from that beginning, sort of, as me and Thomas call it, like the Bronze Age of YouTube, is I think even a lot of people in like the first video who you said like inspired the character to create the show, like so many of those people have just gone by the wayside. There's so many people like Numa Guy or Chris Crocker who have kind of like been one-hit wonders, but you have people like you and SXE Phil and Michael Buckley and Smosh who've like stuck around because there's usually something more, some sort of level of like entertaining content meets authenticity that just makes it something that people love. And I think being one of really the only big YouTube shows to properly have that ARG format, maybe like you and Marble Hornets, that were really able to pull that off, is one of the reasons.
I think something about Lonely Girl as well is it was definitely a thing of like the right place, right time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where you guys were right at that like perfect place, that like beginning playground of YouTube, where no one was sure what was really going on, with the site and what it could be, what it couldn't be. Now everything's so much more set in stone, like what YouTube is, what a YouTuber is. It's a lot harder to change that definition. But also, so like the lasting impact your show had, because it engaged the whole community in a frenzy. Everyone was talking about it, watching it. It kind of brought everyone together, and then the twist of it being actually fake as well, and like showing how traditional media could play with YouTube, and okay, actually this could be something more than just people talking to their cameras. Yeah. It's incredibly important, I think, and you can talk to almost any YouTuber today, and everyone knows about. It's like a legend on the site, you know. Like that's really what it is. I think it's like one of those internet legends.
Well, I think it depends generationally too, though. Like these newer YouTubers, I could walk around a convention, they'll have no idea. I might look totally different than I did back then, but they'll have no idea what YouTube is, because it's different. It's doing like little shake dances from TikTok or whatever. It's just, I feel like a grandfather, you know what I mean? Like,
well, the algorithm kind of killed.
YouTube in my day, you know, was the algorithm, exactly. Yeah.
Well, so were you also like a consumer of YouTube? Like, I guess did you find out about YouTube because of the show? I'm assuming probably.
I mean, I'd seen some cat videos and stuff.
But
but I wasn't really. No, I wasn't on YouTube.
Did they have you guys like? Sorry, continue.
Well, I was gonna say, when I did like, once I started on the show, I was very interactive. Like if you were talking to Daniel at a certain point, that was actually me responding as Daniel.
Shit, yeah.
Or adding people. Yeah, they didn't want to do it at first, and then after a while, there was just too much for everybody to do. So I ended up being able to do some of that. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't give away like key points to stories or anything like that. Just kind of like, hey, how are you? You know, that type of deal. If there was like, you know, anything different than that, we wouldn't do that. Then let's see, my MySpace, good old MySpace.
Yeah,
there was like a maximum number of friends you were allowed to have on MySpace back then, and I hit that limit, and I responded to everybody. I just loved everybody. If anybody asked for an autograph, I would send them one. I just loved the fans. They were so cool to interact with.
I think that's what made like the fan base so amazing, is that like you guys were so active with them. And I think aside from just that, like you were even saying earlier with like the chemistry and the audition, like I think that's one of the big things where even like going back now and rewatching it, like, you know, it's not real, and I'm an adult now, but you're like, oh, like, will they get together? Like, there's that.
I haven't rewatched them in so long.
It perfectly encapsulates that time in YouTube.
It really does, especially also the like 2 preamble videos before like the first video one with Bree in it,
with like the dinosaur and stuff.
Yeah, and the other one where it's like the secret language of YouTubers. That is so like it. I don't know who put that together. Yeah. But that really felt so authentic, like that you could believe someone
like that, like Windows a movie maker kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, but like, did they have you guys, or did you start consuming other people's content on YouTube and get involved with the community? Like, did you feel like you were a part of that community, or?
You know, I tried to. It was weird. So I don't even know if Tube Filter is still around. Is that still a website? Do you know of Tube
Not
Filter?
that I know of, no.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know
It was like an internet news site, kind of like.
Okay.
Yeah, and they would throw like events and things like that, and they were really good to me. Like, if I'd go to an event, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, Yousef, like, let me introduce you to this person." But I always felt either I'm shy, which I'm not shy. I'm not shy, like, to talk like this, but like in a group setting, I don't like talking about like, I did this and this and this kind of a deal, and this is who I am. So whenever I do any kind of like networking type event, I don't talk about myself, and so I didn't get to know a lot of the community. Like, I once tried to talk to Felicia Day, and she had no idea who the hell I was, and I was like, okay, like, fuck you.
That's the throwback right there. Damn.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, like there's things like
do you guys go to VidCon or anything?
yeah, I did VidCon, but I did VidCon. Actually, I did VidCon twice. I think I did once for Lonely Girl and once for Bite Me on
Right.
like the main stages, and that was super fun.
Which VidCon did you go to?
Oh, I don't remember. 2 different ones, and this would have been maybe around 2010, 12, something like that.
You might have met Thomas. He was
the first one was 2010.
Okay.
And I went to the first 2. I went to 2010 and 2011.
Okay. Yeah, I think it would have been right in there. So we did.
We might have crossed paths before.
All right, that's cool. Wait, were you like there just attending or working
child,
there?
Yeah.
Or
no, I was a child.
Yeah,
I was.
You had no idea who I was. Yeah.
No, I was 13.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I was a little bit after Lonely Girl. Like, I guess I started using YouTube in 2007, so the show was still running, but it wasn't like at its peak anymore.
Yeah, it was. It was on its decline.
Yeah, I definitely had seen some of it because, so like Josh mentioned, there's a YouTuber, The Wine Cone.
Yeah, Wine Cone. That was one of the first people we had to watch before.
Yeah,
because in the first video, the second one, the YouTuber Secret Language, and in the first one where Jessica shows her face, she mentions The Wine Cone.
Yeah.
Tony Huynh.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him a lot when I was a kid, and so obviously I found out about Lonely Girl through him, and I watched some of the videos. But I think because I guess I had found out by that point, obviously it was a fake thing.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
Yeah,
but it's still, there was a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of like intrigue and like, I don't know, it felt like this like I said, sort of legendary thing.
Well, I can't tell if the hate dropped off after they found out we were actually actors, or if it just kept going. I don't remember, but I remember there was a lot of hate. And like during all those videos, I got
torn to shreds. I bet.
Oh my god, they would say racist things about me that I won't repeat on here. And I'm not even Jewish, but in that like things like that, you know. And I'm like, dude, like, oh man, they were just rough.
Well, Josh is Jewish, and he gets ripped apart every day.
All the time.
So you get it. I feel your pain.
Well, what I will say quickly, somewhat going off task, is, and I think you did talk about this in one stand-up video I saw, which was it's weird looking like a white guy and having an Arabic name.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sure you can get cast as almost anything. You're very racially ambiguous, and in the short time I did do some acting, and that's usually what I went out for. Is like, you could be Middle Eastern, Italian, Jewish. It doesn't.
Funny enough, the one thing I can't book is Middle Eastern, which is what I am on my father's side.
That's crazy.
I never, because my hair is like too light, I guess, or my skin tone, or something is too light.
You could do Israeli really easy.
I go in for. I played an Israeli on Ray Donovan, and,
which is Middle Eastern, but I guess
Middle Eastern, totally. But it's not like what people want to stereotype, right?
No, of course not.
I have a friend of mine, Michael Benier, is Israeli, but goes out primarily for Arabic roles. So you guys got to just like switch lines.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's Hollywood for you. Hey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's wild. Like. Yeah, that's oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I also like you do have a lot of producing and writing credits under your belt, and you do also have some writing credits on Lonely Girl. Like, at what point, because you said, oh, what if we turned the camera around and like saw the occult poster, at what point did you sort of want to have more of a voice in like the creative process?
Probably day one I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it. It caused it caused a little bit of issues, I think, probably here and there, because I knew that I always wanted to get into the creative side of all of that, and I was, so green that they're probably like, "Hey, actor, just act." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were cool. Don't get me wrong, they were cool, but like, so I think the first time I actually got a writing credit was there was a guy that I don't know if he started off as a fan and he became a writer on the show, but he gave me a writing credit because he basically was like, "This is what I want. Like, these are the points we want to hit, and you just say whatever you want." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And because of that, he gave me my first writing credit, which was pretty cool. And then I took that little writing credit, and I had some friends that were making a student film, it was like a feature length.
Yeah.
That was in 2007, and they needed help with a producer. They lost a producer, and they were like, "Hey, can you come on and help us produce this?" And I was like, "I don't really know what producers do."
Yeah.
And he was like, "We don't either."
They get a large copy.
Yeah.
They walk around with sunglasses, and that's about it. I think.
That's it. Well, so I ended up doing that, and I ended up just, I don't know, anticipating fires and putting them out before they, happen.
Which really is
that's what a
Yeah.
that's what a producer does. That's what a good producer does.
So I got into that, and then Lonely Girl was canceled on my birthday, actually, officially.
Right.
And
Happy birthday, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it was canceled, and then I found out they did like a spinoff with
Mason, was it right? That one?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I didn't.
There was also like
I think I did an
concurrent
episode at the end, but yeah.
Because there was Outbreak, and then there was.
I think it was
like
Resistance, maybe. Yeah.
Wasn't there also what was it called? It was like Opa Hit or something, and it was like it was like a concurrent like series that I think what you also were in, and it was like kind of like an alternate version of the story or something. I can't remember. It was something like that, I think.
I don't even remember. I mean, I did like 400 plus episodes of Lonely Girl, so sometimes they all just
blend together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I quit even putting them up on IMDb. I got to like 200 something, and I was like,
they get the point.
I'm done. Yeah,
you were in the series.
Yeah, I was on the show. We're good.
And then there was Kate Modern.
Sorry, before we get too far away from the your involvement with the writing and whatnot in the show, first off, did that start before it became public that it was no. fabricated? When
Lonely Girl was like in existence, really, I only got that like 1 or 2 writing credits through that one or 2 episodes, but I didn't have much creative input at all, other than I just figuring out my own, learning my character as it happened, and they kind of just, that kind of just meshed together. I didn't get like any producer credits or anything like that until 10 years later I think it was 10 years later when we did like this video where we brought back Jess's character, kind of all like, it was a kind of a weird video.
Almost like she'd been brainwashed. Yeah, the one
that
it
was like her she was like discussing or like talking to the camera about like what to expect when you do the ritual.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
That's what it was. So I got to direct and produce and write some
nice.
Yeah, some stuff for those videos like that came out after, but
and then you put some on the DanielBeast channel as well.
Yeah. But it just didn't, like people watched that first Jess videos. People were like, "Oh my gosh, is this coming back? What's happening?" And I think it got 1 million hits in like a day or something like that. But it didn't hold on. The audience it was gone by that point, seemingly at least. So we kind of abandoned it, and
okay. But so I guess this can still play as a question, but did you feel once the show had gone public and it was that you guys were actors, did you feel more free to sort of play with the character and like, did you feel unshackled? Do you think the show as a whole felt unshackled by that?
No, I think the pressure actually was higher at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that there was always a lot of pressure on set because at this point, the creators are now trying to figure out how to keep the show going, how to monetize it, so we brought on other directors, we brought on we went from being like 4 people in a bedroom, being Miles, Mesh, myself, and Jess, to 6 when we added Greg and Amanda, to 7 with Jackson, to all of a sudden to 8 with Kevin, who was our first like camera guy and editor and stuff. And then from there, it became like this whole office. They all of a sudden had an office.
As soon as James Cameron signed on, it got real crazy.
The interns and all that. And so we had directors and writers and then they did a global thing too. Like you mentioned with Kate Modern, that was like a spinoff in England. And, so it turned into
like its own universe kind of.
Yeah, turned it into its own universe. I think it was just too much to handle for the, like, and it started to kind of I don't know if it was getting neglected or what happened, because they were like branching out so many ways that we started losing audience and numbers after a while. Or, I mean, that happens with shows. Just you're on a high, and then things. I mean, shows end.
I guess fans wanted a more focused thing just on the one, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. You never. I don't know. You never know, right? You can't. You can pick it apart forever and not know what happened. But
yeah. Well, there's just probably too many different factors.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody did the best they could with. I mean, everybody was new to it, and I think that Miles and Mesh were pretty brilliant, to be honest, coming up with this idea. They met in like a party, and Mesh was like, "Oh, I have this idea. I want to do a love story kind of thing," and Miles was like, "Oh, I want to do something like that, but over the internet." And he was like, "That's a great idea." And
so they were shit-faced, and they were like, "Let's do it."
Probably.
Lonely Girl, you heard it here first. Lonelygirl15, the result of a drunken conversation.
I don't know if they're drinking, but it's LA, right? So,
yeah, and I think that's like crazy. It's just like this kind of brilliant idea that I think a lot of people would, talk about while out at a bar and be like, "Oh, this would be such a cool idea," and then it's like never done, and then it kind of manifested into being like the first hit YouTube series.
Yeah, it's all about the follow through, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the hardest part, right?
Yeah. So, we were talking about this, me and Thomas, before with all the press junkets you had to do, and you actually have a pretty big beef with Jay Leno. You and Conan.
Jay Leno's mortal enemies.
Jay Leno. So
did you guys ever bury the hatchet? I guess
never even met here. So I have had 3. Oh man, I wonder if the security guard can get fired for this. Okay, so so yeah, the Jay Leno thing. This is the huge press junket. Did interviews with MTV, the ABC, everybody, whatever, CNN, all these people, right? I'm not sure I did the CNN. I don't remember. But it just like a day filled with interviews. Then all of a sudden we go outside and we find out that we're going to be on the Jay Leno show, and I'm like, oh. That's amazing. I can't wait. Holy shit, this is so cool. And then they go, not you. They only want Jess. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Yeah. So I drove home in my beat up station wagon, which, by the way, I got to that press junket like 2 hours in advance. And they had no idea who I was. I was helping them set up tables and craft services. They thought like I was a PA.
They're like the best PA ever.
Yeah, I'm like all excited, and then they're like, "Oh, you're the one we're interviewing?" Okay, but so I was super bummed about the Jay Leno thing, and I just watched it drive off into the sunset, and that crushed me. But I've also he's not a bad guy. He's actually. I assume. I don't know. I haven't actually met him. I've been to a show. I have friends that worked on the show, and they got us tickets, and I had sisters come visit me, and so we sat in the front row, and kind of one of my sisters like talked to him or something like that.
So and chewed him out.
Well, I always wondered if he.
How dare you?
I always wanted to be like, hey, by the way, but
fuck me. I'm one of 2 people on the show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's how I felt. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, because we're big Coco fans. We love O'Brien here.
Yeah.
And when he tried to fuck over Conan, who has the staying power now, Jay?
Yeah.
You didn't write the best seasons of The Simpsons, you car-loving hack. So, you're good.
Speaking of that, I've also been in his garage. It's pretty cool.
I would imagine.
And that was after.
But you haven't met him.
And I haven't met him. No, I just. Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, I hope it doesn't get anybody fired. But
he screwed me over once, so the least you could do is let me sit in his cars, sir.
Let me drive that Aston Martin.
Oh man, he had a McLaren in there. He had all kinds of crazy stuff. It was pretty cool. Nice. I've heard he's a nice guy. I don't know. I just like it took me some years to get over that. I just always felt like if I just got on Jay Leno, man.
Yeah.
things would all be different.
It would all
you
be
wouldn't
different,
be living
man.
in the fuck wagon.
That's right.
Well, you know what? After this interview, we'll make sure we'll talk to some of our guys who don't know anyone to book you on Conan.
Perfect. That's
We'll
what
get
I'm
you
talking
on
about.
Coco, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We could both like mess with our floofy hair.
Exactly.
You know.
And that's the goal, baby.
That's right. I got to do some cool stuff though. I got met Tom Green many times, and he had us on his he had like a web show for a while, and yeah, some cool stuff. I got to do the Carmen Electra thing, right?
Yeah, because I guess at the time it was like so hot, like the idea of like, oh, this famous YouTube show, and then traditional media trying to get into the internet is probably like, okay, let's just throw you guys and fucking it.
That's totally what it was.
Because you did that near in
totally banged, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was I'll just go ahead and say it was a missed opportunity. Worked with her because she was in Epic Movie, which was a series of like these movies that I don't think come out anymore. I don't know.
No, I think that kind of died.
Yeah, all that kind of
that like parody movie.
After the
thing,
Wayans brothers left, people
it was over.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
So I got to play myself with Carmen, who I was obviously in love with since forever, right? Since the first Playboy I ever saw her in. And she was taking my mic off. Did we talk about this already during this part of the podcast?
Okay. Not Thomas juicy detail.
Yeah, so she had just broken up with Dave Navarro, and she was super cute and friendly and all that sort of stuff. And we're kind of trying to flirt a little bit, but I'm nervous. This is my first interaction with like a real celebrity. And we do our scene, and then after the scene, they come to take the mic off the middle of your chest. And she goes ahead and she runs her hand up my shirt and plays with my chest hair and just gave me these eyes. And I just thought, like, say something, you fucking asshole. Say something, anything. And I just froze. I was like a squirrel in a road. I couldn't do anything.
You should have asked her to get a cheeky brunch.
Oh, man. If I ever have the opportunity again,
Well, you
see her in the street and you say, Carmen, baby.
Yeah.
It's me. Hey.
But now you don't have the emo hair. You got a good beard going. She'll like, whoa.
I got a chance. Yeah. I have a couple tattoos now.
Exactly.
Okay.
So here's what we'll do. So do you know, have you heard of Liam Kyle Sullivan, the guy behind the Shoes video?
I'm gonna say yes to be polite.
He did like Shoes. Oh my god, Shoes.
Oh, Shoes.
He was our second to last guest, and he toured with Dave Navarro with the character. So what we'll do is we'll say, hey Liam, baby, if you could get Navarro to put in a good word with Electra, and then we'll get you guys in the same room.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, I just went through a breakup, so there would be no sweeter revenge.
Yeah.
Not revenge.
Yeah.
There'd be nothing better than if we could make this happen. So if you can go ahead and
we'll drop
we'll look it up.
Navarro,
Yeah. Tell him to talk to his ex. I'm sure everybody likes that. I would love
that'll go over swimmingly.
Hey, there's this guy that met her a long time ago.
Carmen, I don't know if you remember doing the press junket for Epic Movie.
Yeah. Oh, she remembers.
Yeah. But you know that guy whose chest hair you played with and looked at lovingly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't touch this chest
He's
hair
had a
without
glow up, baby.
Yeah,
and then
there's Burt Reynolds, Tom Selleck, and me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's her short list of
chest hair lovers.
Yeah, the Austin Power. That's fake, man. You got the real deal.
Oh, this is the real stuff. Yeah. It's powerful.
We're gonna make this happen.
Powerful.
And then
she's probably been looking for me, if I'm being honest.
I think
she just couldn't spell my name because it's so long.
Yeah, she thought your name was DanielBeast, and then she's been looking.
She's been googling that, like different spellings
for
different
years,
capitalization.
Only in the yellow pages because she's not that bright, but hasn't been able to find yet. And then we'll get you guys together, and then you plow on our live stream.
I'd be fine with that. I'd be totally fine with that. I'd have
that'll be your break into your OnlyFans.
Finally, you know what? It's full circle. There you go.
It's all coming together.
So there you go.
I think this is the perfect.
Are you guys my managers now?
We are. I'm your goddamn bro.
Okay.
And your 10%. Turtle.
We've been watching a lot of Entourage, and we know the business.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Lloyd. So, I think this is a perfect time to ask this question because this is a question we like to ask every guest. It's perfect to come after plowing on camera, but have you, the legend you are, sir, Yousef Abu-Taleb, ever completed a hands-free ejac?
Oh yeah, totally.
Really?
You're
No hands. No hands. You just.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I was like 12. You ever see a dog that pumps in the air? Like it's just kind of like going for the pump in the air, and then he gets. Yeah, man.
We've
my
asked
libido.
everyone this question because I'm one of the few people I know, the only person I know who's completed a hands-free. And we've been asking guest after guest. We've had,
and they're all shutting him down.
They're all like,
They're
"No,
all
I've never done
like
that."
He's crazy.
Kevin MacLeod, the music king of YouTube, said, "Oh, you mean with clothes?" And I said, "No, but you've done it, and now we're brothers, Yousef."
Oh yeah. See, it's that Middle Eastern thing.
I think so.
You need to ask a few more Middle Easterners. That's what it is.
We found this beauty in each other.
This
I don't
right
feel
here
alone
is what
anymore.
could bridge the gap between Israel and
Palestine.
Israelis
that is right.
Yeah, right there.
Because we can both.
Oh my God.
Come without hands, and it's this beautiful thing.
This is amazing. I feel like I'm witness to like
I'm
some
so
grand
stoked.
event.
You're my brother, sir, and we're okay now. And the conflict in the Middle East, it's over.
It's over.
It's done.
It's done.
Wow.
Yeah, super easy.
I can't believe
like
we just created world peace right here.
See?
Yeah.
Two things.
That's amazing.
This
is actually funny though, because I am actually like, I am having an emotional response.
No one else has said
Josh
yes.
Everyone said no.
Do you think
to
they're
the point where
No, that'd be awesome that you could make yourself come with your mind. Like, come on.
I don't know if I could.
It's so
anymore.
powerful.
I can't anymore. This was when I was 19.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was definitely like.
Still, this is
anything.
Insane.
I just look across the room, just.
And you would burst.
Oh yeah, it just didn't matter. Yeah.
I love that. We're family. So completely left field out of this left field question.
Yeah.
Having this sort of like legacy on the platform, do you ever think, you know what, maybe it is something with an ARG like you were saying earlier, but do you think you want to maybe you yourself as a creative make a return to YouTube at some point?
I'd love to. I feel disconnected from YouTube now though. So I wouldn't even know at this point where to start, what to do, kind of a thing. I mean, I've done kind of all of it throughout the years. I had a podcast back in the day. I did, all that sort of stuff. But now it's just, I feel like it's so congested. There's so much out there. It's like, how do you break through that? I don't know. I would need somebody to partner up with, if I'm going to be honest, that can just say,
we'll call up Tony. We'll get you and the wine cone connected.
There we
Perfect.
go.
Yeah.
It'll be the big comeback of the century.
That's what I'm talking about.
So here's my pitch to you, sir, because
Okay.
I think you would be the man to do it, as you have this history with it. But now that there is TikTok, there's Instagram, there's like YouTube, there's Twitch.
Yeah.
You could maybe even do an ARG around someone who is like coming on to be like maybe doing the TikTok dances and the TikTok comedy. But in doing so and trying to be authentic, there could be this bigger story behind it. And then you can use all these platforms.
It's not a great pitch because I don't know what the story is.
I don't either yet. But like,
let's develop this story. Let's sit down and let's figure this out. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think with the fact that there are all these kind of circulated platforms now that like, you post something on TikTok, you can repost that to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, like I definitely think, like you said, there is something much
there
like
is.
that.
We tried doing
There's
that.
definitely something there.
That's what we tried doing when we brought back the 10 year later Lonely Girl thing. So we created a Snapchat for DanielBeast, and I was trying to like interact with people through there just to kind of garner some. And I got plenty of messages on there and stuff, but again, it just died. It just went away. Like it's crazy how when you're brand new to the industry, money is no object because you don't need it, because you'll figure out a way. And then for some reason, something happens when you start getting a little bit of success that you think you need more money to make these movies or shows or whatever, right? But the truth is you don't. You just need to set your ego aside. Like I shot a movie with my buddy Lucas Colshaw. It's very personal, some stuff that I went through after Lonely Girl and stuff like that. That we ended up shooting for on our credit cards, and it's awesome. The dude is like amazing with animation, so it's got like animation things in it, and I can't wait for that to come out. And the truth is, we did it on nickels and dimes, right? And that's because we wanted to do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
But
that's the thing you
nowadays-
forget.
so true.
Yeah, like even me and Thomas, you know, like we started younger making YouTube videos, and then we met in film school, and then you know we worked on like indies, and then eventually started working on set. Like Thomas was in camera, I was in set deck on like Hallmarks or you know like some bigger shows, and then like coming back, we're like, what can we do on our own? You know, we've made a pilot, we've done all these things, we have no money though. And I think this was kind of our way to do it without money. And this is like the thing that's given us the most enjoyment. We've been able to like talk to people we've grown up watching and who've had like this like huge
impact on who we are.
And everyone else on the platform, like it's crazy. Like, do you ever just think about like what I did is influence this platform to kind of become what it is? Like, that's crazy if you think about that.
As humbly as I can answer that question, I would say yes, I have thought about that, and I feel like I did interviews back in the day where I thought I told people this is exactly where everything's going to go. Nobody's going to be using cable TV anymore. Everything's going to be streaming. The only thing that didn't happen, in my opinion, is that big ARG show that has not come back yet. I still think it that's the only thing.
I'd still work on it. I'd love to see what you do with that.
I totally do. I think that can 100% happen. It's just for something like that, I think that would need some sort of capital.
Yeah, I think so.
Only because you'd have to dedicate 100% of your time to it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody would. And so, I mean, even Lonely Girl, they had in order to get off the ground, they got a loan from like a friend or a parent or something like that, just to like cover them for a few months. And
I heard they got like 50,000 in credit card debt too. Like you do need that capital, but I think it is. Yeah, it's just one of those things where like how you were so right though. Yeah. Like with like if when you were in those interviews saying that I think that's what there's going to be no like I don't know anyone who has cable anymore except for maybe for sports. But
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and even still, you can watch most sports online too.
But I mean, like when you said that in that interview, people probably thought you were fucking crazy.
Maybe, I don't know. It was like early on. It was like 5 or 10 years. It was like while I was on Lonely Girl.
But that's what I mean. Like even in like 2011, you said everything's going to be or no one's going to watch cable anymore. Like people would be like, well, maybe the internet will get a little bit bigger, but cable will always be the king. But that's not the case anymore. Like everything is streamed.
No.
You have movie stars doing web series now. Like
well, and even like the kids who are growing up now, like they don't want to be a movie star or whatever. They want to be YouTube stars. They want to be TikTok stars.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think we were kind of that. Like me and Thomas were one of the first generation of like I think because we were so growing up in the internet. Like like if I wanted to watch like any sort of like celebrity news, like I wasn't going to like Entertainment Tonight. I was watching like What the Buck, you know? If I wanted to watch some sort of like crazy sort of what's going to happen next, it would be You. Or maybe I'd watch something like Marble Hornets or like whatever Totally Sketch was coming up with. Like I think we were at that perfect age to be the first people kind of growing up on YouTube. And there was that shift where like you'd come home and you wouldn't throw on like Disney or Nickelodeon, you'd throw on YouTube. And now like my younger cousins or nieces and nephews, like that's what they're growing up on. They're watching like PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in some of this is just a sidebar. In some of my lower times, I ended up PAing on PewDiePie, one of PewDiePie's shows.
Oh, Scare PewDiePie?
After Lonely Girl. And so the guy that hired me, he knew about Lonely Girl and stuff, but he knew that I was on this thing called Lonely Girl, but he didn't know what it was. And
that's crazy.
And so he hired me to do this job, and then he heard some like ladies, like associate producer type ladies, actually talking about Lonely Girl, and he stopped and he was like, "What'd you just say?" And they were like, "Oh, we were talking about this whole show thing." And he goes, "Hold on 1 second." And over the walkie, he's like, "Hey, Yousef, can I get you to come?" It was like near Crafty, or like the office was near Crafty or something.
Yeah.
Like, "Can I get you to come out here?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I walk in like to that area, and they look at me, and they go, "Oh my God." And he starts dying laughing, and that hurt. Let me tell you that.
God.
I wrote I got a pilot I'm trying to shoot, and that scene is in there. Just like this, like, what happened? How are you a PA now? You did that. Why aren't you? That sort of a thing. But I think that's kind of something that it's all those kind of things that got me into doing stand up. It's really just therapy. That's all it is. It's me just like,
it's letting you just have a release of your emotions.
Totally. Yeah.
But the thing is, so if you look at like a lot of those early like creators, like you guys, and Brookers was another, like, one of the first big YouTuber people, and obviously Smosh and Winecone lesser because he's just sort of still doing the same thing. But like Brookers has a video or like a live stream she did in the last couple of years where she talks about how she used to have 60,000 subscribers and now her channel has like 300, and how like that feeling of like getting left behind is. Or you look at a channel like Smosh where
it's not
Anthony's
it's
not
Smosh
on it anymore.
either.
It's not Smosh. Like the show and the guys that they were when back in the time when you guys were making stuff, it's just not. In order to stay relevant and stay on the site, they completely had to transform.
Yeah, you got a Madonna.
Basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She kept changing who she was, and that's why she's still relevant today.
Yeah.
You want to know why YouTube wins every time, and they'll beat out any other whatever, HBO, Netflix, I don't care who it is. YouTube will always win because they don't have to pay for content.
Yeah.
They don't have to.
People bring their own money to the content. And the money they do is monetization.
And they put it up. Exactly. So while, say, HBO or any of these, the Marvel shows, any of them, which are awesome, I love them. They're like great shows. They're still putting out hundreds of millions of dollars to make these, right?
Well, Netflix is like billions in debt.
Yeah. But YouTube, nope. Because they got people that want to just do it on their own, and if it hits, it hits. And
true, but they do have to host billions of hours of content that's not going to do anything for them.
That's
to be fair.
That is true, but
YouTube was not profitable for a very long time. Now it totally is, I'm sure.
Yeah. That is true. Well,
but they're lucky. They're lucky they had Google, who just like
Google,
well, and just kind of isolated them from the costs.
I always wish that we would have got a little cut of that Google buy. Just like just throw me $1 million. You know what I mean? That's fine.
Well, it's like you guys are the reason for it. Right?
Thanks a lot. Come on, Google, help me out.
But I
that's actually the thing though. Hey, is like all of the perceived value of the site. Like really, it came from you guys, like the creators on the website. Like YouTube, they just happened to get lucky that people decided that they were the platform to post on.
That is true. There's a lot of truth.
It could have been
the
anything.
funny thing about that is kind of crazy true. Like if you even think about the fact that like YouTube was known as cat videos, and then after the reveal that you guys had, it was the first thing that really promoted it. Like, oh, Entertainment Tonight or ABC is doing some like this site that is just for like fail compilations now has this crazy series on it, and then it was shortly after that they were bought by Google, and it's like you think you might actually get some of the kickback.
I mean, that would have been great. I don't know if the creators got a kickback.
We'll get Donnie Google on the horn. We'll call him up.
Yeah, Donnie
Google.
We'll
get you your check cut.
You guys are doing a lot. You guys are great managers. You got me Carmen on the way. You got me a little Google cut.
You're gonna be on Coco.
Oh man, Coco.
It's all coming together.
Any
baby.
hypothetical, we're the guys together for you.
Perfect. You know what? You are hypothetically my favorite managers ever.
There we go. That's
nice. I love that.
That's what I like to hear. Is there? What would you say is like? Okay, so going forward after this, what can people look out for that you're doing next? So we got the special coming out soon.
Yeah, I got the Washed Up YouTube Star comedy special still coming out. And
do you have any idea where that's going to be able to be watched?
No,
or
not
viewed?
yet. Not yet. That's still being shopped. And then I've got Continue 987, which is that other movie that I made like on a dime. That'll be coming out. And I'm writing more. I got a pilot. I've got a Middle Eastern film that I want to get made. So it depends on where the financing is going to come from for those. And other than that, as soon as COVID's over and I can get back to doing some stand up, I'm sure there'll be some shows and stuff lined up. So.
If you ever come through to Vancouver, hit us up.
Oh man, I will.
We'll take you to the best
there.
place to get a Cinnabon and cup of Joe.
I love Cinnabon. I really like coffee. So actually, I'm also a tea guy though. Is that weird?
No, I love a good tea. A nice vanilla rooibos. That's how I'm starting my day.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good stuff.
I feel like you just ascended class levels over me because I have no.
You
idea
just have
what that
decaf
is.
coffee, you Philistine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing when pandemic is over, we're doing something we're calling the Burger Tour, which is where we're gonna re-interview people we really like and try to find the best cheeseburger in America. So if you're down to like at some point when the world is normal, meet up and get a cheeseburger, we'd love to get one.
Yeah, I will plug this place called Jack Brown's, and they have a burger called the Elvis, which is gonna sound gross.
Is it the peanut butter one?
Yeah,
I love it.
You know about it?
Oh,
Josh knows all
I'm a
about
burger
burgers.
connoisseur. I know the burger that killed Elvis.
Oh, it's a burger. It's got the cheddar cheese. It's got some bacon and peanut butter and mayonnaise. But it's awesome. It is so good.
Well, that's the original one. There is this place in Vancouver called Tap and Barrel, and they tried to make their own spin on it, and it has bacon jam. So
I've heard of that too.
I would love to try this one. So if we're wherever you are, would you want to eat that burger with us?
Yeah, man. Oh, okay. You got to come to Virginia. That's where it is.
Well, like I said, we're doing an American tour, so we'll meet you in Virginia.
Okay.
We'll get this crazy burger, and we'll talk a little bit more. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and anywhere else aside from the new projects, if people want to find you, where can they find you, socials wise?
Yeah, sure. My handles, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, what else is there? It's all YOUABU, Youabu.
Nice.
Okay.
And if you want to find us, we are Friend Styles on Anchor FM and Patreon. We are When We Were There show on Instagram and TikTok, and we are WWW There show on Twitter. And you can find...
We got one tweet now. We finally tweeted
We did a tweet. And we're also our Wholesome Only fans. You can check that out. Friends, if you want to see fully clothed men being best friends, that's where you go.
Yeah.
That sounds...
You feel like you don't have enough best friend love in your life.
Yeah, you can see me pushing Thomas on a swing.
Get your fix.
Or him teaching me how to tie a shoe. That's where you go. Thank you guys so much. Yousef, thank you again. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.